Welcome to the PageantCast. Today we have Sarah Wall Beckman. She is a past Miss International, and now she's a pageant coach and interview expert. And today we talked to her about her past in pageantry, but we also get some show and tell, and she tells us about some of the trends in pageantry. That's today on the PageantCast.
TKPN.
Welcome to the PageantCast, your home for beauty pageant news and interviews on the internet.
Hi everyone, I'm Kenamia Harkey, Miss Wisconsin Teen USA 2015.
And hi guys, I'm Haley Landre, Miss Wisconsin USA 2015.
You're watching PageantCast.
Welcome.
You're watching the PageantCast. So glad that you could join us. We have a great show lined up for you today because we have a very special guest. Tonight, we have Sarah Wall Beckman. She's an interview and pageant coach. Sarah, thanks for joining us on the PageantCast tonight.
Oh, Tim, thank you so much for having me on.
It is great to have you on. Now, you're a veteran of our show. You were on the show before as a title holder. Why don't you tell everybody about that, and we'll call that your pageant or your past pageant. What were you involved in there?
Right. I was very blessed to be the first Miss International, and that makes me sound really old. It was back in 2005, and I was freshly crowned, I think. And I haven't told you this yet, Tim, since we've talked about getting ready for this interview. But that interview, I don't know if you remember this, but I was a figure skating coach, and I had coached all day, and I was sick with some terrible cough. Do you remember this at all?
I remember this interview. In fact, I did listen to it this past week.
Did you edit that out? Because I had the worst coughing fits, and I was alone in this cold, dark ice rink, and it was the opposite of glamorous. And I haven't been able to listen to it because I was so embarrassed about coughing like that.
It's absolutely beautiful and wonderful, just like you.
You're very kind. I'm so happy for the redo, so thank you.
I'll tell you what, we'll hide that one in the archive, and we'll keep this one, okay? It's possible. We can do these things. So what got you started in pageants, Sarah?
You know, I actually started on a dare. I was in college, and my friend who I went to school with for fashion design, Caroline Hayden, and now she's a big deal in the fashion world, and I'm not. But she used her degree, and she became a famous designer, which is so awesome. Hi, Caroline, if you ever watch this. And but she was in the Miss America system, and I was asking her about it. I was really interested. And she dared me to do one, and I did, and I won. So that was good.
And the rest is history, as they say. Fantastic. Now, Sarah, I noticed that I stuck a logo right in your eye, so I'm sorry about that. We had so much fun putting this together tonight. I think people are going to say, they were giddy. What's going on?
We were happy.
Yeah, and the chat room is going crazy right now, so I don't know how I'm going to follow that thing. So I may tune out of that every once in a while. You know, they should just press heart over and over and over again. That's what they need to do. Anyway, yeah, exactly. So one of the things we wanted to do tonight is, because you're a pageant coach, that we wanted to touch base on a few topics on today's show. So the topic that we want to talk about are some of the trends that are going on, the forecasts of trends. The thing with pageants, they change so quickly, it's tough to tell what's going to be the big trend. So what we want to talk a little bit about is, what do you think is coming up in the world of pageantry?
I love it. I love what's happening right now, because I think we are going into a direction that's so much more natural. I love the idea of the pageant world blending with the modern world and not having it be such a culture onto our own.
Right.
I want it to be, you're a modern woman and you also happen to be in pageantry because it pushes you to be your best self, and you don't have to be either or. And I love that. And I didn't tell you this, Tim, but I interviewed some good friends today who are a big deal in the pageant industry, and they gave me their best advice as to what they see coming. And so that's really fun. So I'm excited to share my results with you.
Okay. Well, one of the questions I wanted to ask you about, and this is something I debate with my friends in the pageant world, is what is the hottest division right now? For a while, it seemed like it was Misses, and Miss obviously is always a go-to because of America and USA. What is the hottest division? Where are we going with pageants?
The hottest division is however old you are. It's whichever one you want to be in. I don't know.
Well, that was a pageant answer, wasn't it?
Right? No, it's fun. But I think they're all hot. I know that's kind of generic, but I really think that there's something to each category. They're all different. Teen, Miss, Mrs., Ms.
Mm-hmm.
And I love it.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about what you think are some of the biggest changes in pageants since you competed. And I'm not making that sound like it was 100 years ago. I want you to make that clear. But what are some of the things that you've seen change in the last few years that you think is a big difference from when you were competing?
Here's what I think. Back when I was competing, it seemed like there was the Miss America culture. And honestly, I think it was the news anchor culture, where it was, stylish little suits, and it was hair that was like this, and it was very news anchor.
Okay.
And I think it's gotten so much more natural, which I love. And I think that diversity is celebrated and culture is celebrated. And the new trend in pageants is be different, be you. And I love that. I think that's so fascinating. For instance, the young woman who competed in Minnesota, USA, who is Muslim. And that was really interesting, how she competed in a burqa through the swimsuit competition in Miss Minnesota, USA.
Right.
But I love it. Okay, I know it's controversial. I know some people weren't up for that. But I think it's fantastic. I think it stretches the whole industry, and the more we stretch the industry, the more people it's going to appeal to.
Okay, but as a coach, is that worrisome? Because you're basically telling everybody just do your own thing, and coaches are supposed to kind of say, hey, don't do so. Or am I misinterpreting what coaches do? It seems like they tell people, reel them in. Say, okay, it's nice that you're yourself. Could you not be so much yourself? Could you be somebody better? That was mean. That was me. I want everybody to note that was me, not Sarah, that said that. But well, I mean, in all seriousness, as a coach, how do you coach people to be more themselves?
Well, you and I chatted on the phone earlier when we were getting ready for this interview, and I think it's this bell curve that's really interesting through preparing in pageants. And usually right as you start in pageants, you win because you're so fresh and authentic and natural. And then you've gone through enough mock interviews where you learn, okay, I'm supposed to speak positively. I'm not supposed to say negative things. I'm not supposed to say and all that. And you get kind of frozen and you stop winning. And then you realize, oh yeah, I just have to be myself again. But now you have all the wisdom to back up this fresh, authentic self. And that is really what all judges want. They just want somebody who's going to speak well, somebody who's going to speak their mind and be polite and represent the pageant system well.
Tell the judges what they want, what they really, really want. That's I had to. I don't know why. Okay. So, white gowns. We talked about this. Are people turning away from the you can't win without a white gown thing? I know in the international pageants, I've been kind of watching jewel tones take over international pageants for, gosh, it's got to be a decade now. But it's starting to show up in other pageants. At least that's what I'm seeing. But you're the expert. What are you seeing?
I love a white gown. I really do. I think there's something so special about it because we associate white with weddings, and the bride is certainly the focal point of a wedding. I think it's just this color that states something special is happening right now. But I also think that silver, I wore a silver gown when I won, and metallics, I think, have that same sort of quality.
Wait,
So
you're supposed to
really
dress up
see-
as Metallica? Is that what you said?
Yeah, with the black.
With the guitar?
No.
Yeah. No?
Come on.
Okay. Well, I'm trying to keep track. Okay, so metallics, silvers, what else?
Well, actually, I want to talk to you about this because I
Okay.
talked to Joey Rutherford from The Competitive Image. He
Mm-hmm.
sent me some great feedback when I asked him for trends. And one
And
of
this
the things
means
he
we're going
said-
to show and tell. Hold on, I have a special little video for this. Here we go. It's time for show and tell. Well, wait a minute. You got to write on the chalkboard just like when you were a kid. Oh, yeah, I made that for you there, Sarah. Okay, so let's do some show and tell. What have you
Okay,
got there in
here's-
front of you?
I'm sorry, I messed it up.
No,
But
you're
here's our new.
back off a
Miss you-
little bit. Back off a little bit. You're a little too close. We're just seeing the gown and not her face. There we go. Perfect.
That's okay. I was just showing the gown.
That
We
gown
know
is
Iris-
unbelievable, isn't it? And that's our new Miss Universe, isn't it?
Yep.
Okay.
That's our new Miss Universe. But this is what Joey was saying. Joey was saying that the trend is going to be golds, metallics, and the beadwork is becoming the star of the show. That's what's really interesting, I think. Before, in the past, it had been a little bit of sparkle on the gown to make the gown sparkle. And now, like for instance, this was interesting. Gasper Cruz posted this today on his Facebook. Like, this is what he's doing now. So see how which way do I go?
Yeah, a
See how
little bit more
the
to,
spark
yeah.
going to become the star of the show now?
That's the
In the
fabric?
pattern.
Is that the fabric?
Yeah, that's going to be the fabric.
I thought
Here's
that was
some-
a crown. Now that's Sierra Leone from this year's Miss Universe, I believe.
From this year's Miss Universe. But
Okay.
see how the embellishment is now becoming the pattern of the gown rather than just simply making the fabric sparkle.
Right, right, because that's been for a while now that you get the sparkly, but you're not seeing this amount of detail work. I mean, this is gorgeous what they have on.
That's what's so interesting. So I think that's a big change that's coming, and it's all about showing individuality. Again, I have some. do
I
you want
see.
to-
Well, of course, I want to see more. But what a silly question. But I guess my question is: do you think that might be also that the gown makers, with some of the modern manufacturing techniques that they have, that it might be a little bit easier to make those types of gowns, and thus the price came down to where it's reasonable instead of, oh, I guess we have to mortgage the house again price, you know? Is that
I
maybe
think-
behind it?
Well, I hope that we live in a world where that's true, Tim. But I think that this is still happening at Miss Universe, at the Golden Globes. So, for instance, I also think sleeves is going to be a big trend because sleeves kind of say, hey, I'm the boss. All you girls look pretty in your halter neck, but I'm the boss of this pageant. So I really think sleeves are where it's at too. And like our Miss Universe had, Iris, the sheer sleeves seem
Okay.
to be the big deal with the little bit of embellishment on them. Kind of like as if you just emerged from the ocean and you came up a goddess and you happen to sparkle a little. So
That is
it's
awesome.
natural. But, and then here's the other big trend that I'm seeing too, is texture. I
Yeah,
think texture is going to be the big deal coming up.
that is
So
just
the
beautiful.
Floral embellishment. Here's another one from Miss Universe. I think this is new.
Yes. Yeah, I don't think I've seen a gown like that at any of the locals, that's for sure.
I think it will take a little while, but it'll trickle down and
Yeah, I'm thinking a season or two, and all of a sudden we're going to start seeing these in the wild, as I like to say.
Exactly.
Because if you've been to a local, they're pretty wild. I want everybody to notice you obviously do a lot of your coaching on Skype, and look, she has her little anchor person area there. She has all of her she has her visual aids. She's ready to go. This is like old school Johnny Carson. Hey, what is this there? You got that in the picture?
Coaching over Skype. I think that is the new thing too. And that's what's exciting about Skype is you can work with any industry professional you want. Maybe not a makeup artist. That's harder over Skype. But as far as working with an interview coach or a pageant coach, pick who you want. You can work with them
nationwide
of your home.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So almost all of my business is over Skype right now in multiple states.
I have an expert in the other room there. That's you. And I need to see your best pageant wave. It's very important that I see your best pageant wave. So, yes. And don't do this halfway. This is very important because I will judge it and tell you if it's okay or not. And I am notoriously bad at giving out compliments. So let's see this pageant. I'm such a jerk.
Okay, I'll leave it to you if you wave back at me. Okay.
No, that's not part of it because I do this. So that doesn't work.
Here's my one tip, though.
Okay. Yes. Crossbody
wave.
Now, why? Why are you doing crossbody?
Showing your armpit.
That's really smart.
Hi.
That is really smart because I have a lot of pictures of young women's armpits. I really do. That is really smart. I am giving you an A. I am giving you an A. Congratulations. That I don't give out very often. And people that watch on a regular basis are like, I can't believe he did it. He finally gave one out. So, got it. Okay. Sarah, it's been wonderful having you on the show. And we're going to say Tiara Dreams. Tiara Dreams. Wait, I got to do it. There we go.
Submitting material to the PageantCast is as easy as 1, 2, 3.
Come up with a great idea. We know you have some. A recent crowning, a shout out to someone, a shout out to a sponsor.
Record a short video on your iPhone or webcam, but remember to include your name and title.
And remember to send it to submit@PageantCast.com.
Videos are best because we are a video show after all, but photos and stories are welcomed as well.
Get yours in now at the start before the competition for space gets too big. Don't be afraid to be creative.
We can't wait to see what you'll come up with.
Pageantry.